This
Welcome to
meeting
day
is being recorded.
627 of our Web3 journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein, here with my twin brother Brian, and we have special guests with us today. If you've been on Deso for a while, you definitely know who he is. It's Deso OG Michael Lee Rolland. How's it going, Michael?
Doing well, I appreciate you guys having me back on. It's been way too long. It feels like 10 years, even though I know we first got connected like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, we,
Yeah,
we met you in Miami, I guess in like the middle of 2021, that first big BitClout event where like Jake Udell and Craig and all those guys were on hand. And then we met you again in New York City when there was the Cat Cohen event, right?
Yeah, that Clouts giving, we had a great meal together. I know it's been a long time, but not really. It feels like the first year of BitClout was just, it went by so quickly. And I know a lot's happened since then.
It really does. And I know you've done a lot in the last year or last 6 months or so, and we're going to get to that and what you've been doing off of DeSo and how you might use DeSo in the future. First, we want to quickly jump to the news. There's kind of a lot of it. We're going to breeze through it so we can get to Michael Lee Rowland.
yeah. So Pearl app, they launched their 5 days of Deso holiday giveaway. So basically, what they're going to be doing is in order to thank the DeSo community for their support, they're going to be holding a series of NFT giveaways. Each day, they're going to have rules you can play by in order to win. For example, the first giveaway that launched yesterday and will go until I believe 7:59 p.m. Pacific time tonight requires you to go to their Instagram account, which is just Pearl App Official, and give it a follow. Then go to their first post and tag two friends in the comments. Then go back to Deso, go back to the post that I'm tagging above this video and comment on it. And then you're going to be entered and you can win one of 25 free NFTs. So love what they're doing here. Love what Pearl's doing in general.
Yeah, I love this too. And moving on, really big news from Ed Moss, Mossified, who yesterday showed off the new Deso.com wallet feature. So there's actually going to be a wallet that you can basically connect to at any time and access your various Deso assets. There's going to be different tabs for NFTs, for your creator coins, your project coins, or DAO tokens, as they used to be called, and your social graph, all your followers and all of that. And this is going to be like a portable wallet, just like you'd have a wallet for Ethereum or a wallet for Solana. And I would say it's kind of like MetaMask for Deso.
Yeah, like is it a portable wallet? I didn't see confirmation of that.
I don't know. Let's double check on that with Ed. But it functions kind of like a MetaMask where you can see all your assets. I'm assuming that eventually it's going to act almost the same as MetaMask would.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. It's a good way for people to get to Deso and see all of their holdings at once. NFTZ, new Psycho Cyborgs was released today, Brian.
Yeah, so Psycho Cyborgs version number 3, the bronze edition. There's 250 of these available. Anybody can claim them. You just go to the link and claim it. We'll post a link here. It's a free NFT to the first 250 people who claim it. It's a collaboration with Unicat. Unicat's a big OG series. One of the more popular NFT series on the Deso blockchain. All you have to do is like, follow, and repost the post to claim the NFT. And that all happens on the NFTZ platform. 10 people who claim it and get the bronze version will also be airdropped a 1 of 10 silver version. And those who retweet our tweet on Twitter get a bonus entry to win that 1 of 10 silver. Remember, you can collect 5 different silvers and you can get $50 in Deso if you do that by the snapshot date, which will be the end of this series. And if you collect all 15 of the bronze editions, you're going to get a special airdrop at the end of the series as well. So definitely check that out. Unicat, we're really proud to be working with Unicat, and we have a lot of great NFTs in this series coming over the next couple of months.
Yeah, for sure. And pretty soon, you might begin to see more curated feeds on Deso apps. According to Brutal, who reported this morning, there's a new update to the Deso backend API, and that's going to allow individuals to create curated feeds for their apps. So maybe we'll start seeing this with Desocial World or Gem Story. I imagine we'll see with Gem Story since Brutal is suggesting it. Pretty interesting. I think people might start going to different apps and nodes just to see different content soon.
How about like a pizza feed, Michael? Wouldn't you like that?
Now we're really talking, guys. I love the sound of that. We've got to figure out a way to bring food into Web3 here for sure.
Yeah, like a food node, and it curates your favorite food posts. So if you like pizza, it can curate a feed of the pizza posts, coffee posts, whatever you like, right?
And we just show up at the door with one every time there's a node. It's like, boom.
Well, first you had to sell the NFT. You buy the NFT for the pizza, and then you show up at the door. And they got to
I love the
show
thought of
their
that.
wallet to ensure they actually bought it.
The future of food sounds very futuristic. I like this.
Yeah, so Whale Shark ETH, he has released his final ads by Whale Shark NFT. It's up for auction on NFTZ. It's a 72-hour timed auction, his third and last of the year. So if you win this NFT, you actually get to make a post to Whale Shark ETH's diamond profile. The previous winners have been Lewis Eddy, who paid 36.04 DSO, and Zane underscore, who paid 35 DSO. So the last one, we'll see how much this one gets.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Are they going to get about the same price as the previous ones got, or maybe more, or maybe less?
And speaking about Whale Shark ETH and Lewis Eddy, yesterday on Vibe Hut, Lewis Eddy actually did an unboxing of his Whale Shark ETH E1337 MetaWear. It ended up being this really cool looking black hoodie, really cool. If you haven't checked out E1337 MetaWear yet, definitely do so. There's both physical and digital clothing available. Just go to e1337.pro and you can check that out. It's a really, really interesting website.
Yeah, and before we get to Michael and what he's doing, I thought we would touch on the fact that there's a big Twitter space tomorrow. Ash Deso from the Deso core team will be on hand. William Laurent and Michelle Lord are hosting this event along with Michael J. Neal. Ed and I are going to be there. I think it's going to be interesting. They're going to be talking about Web3, and it's going to be 53 minutes, just like all of their other Twitter spaces. Let's see if we can get this thing really big. If you're listening, definitely tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Share the word, spread the word. Let's get a lot of the Twitter community involved and let them learn about Deso.
Yeah, and Michael, you've been here since the start of Deso. I think probably before Brian and I, even a few days before us. How did you hear about Deso and like what got you started here?
So my college roommate, Jake Udell, his brother just got married last week. I was just with those guys. Yeah, Jake, he's always early to things since I've known him. And he told me this would be the next pets.com or Facebook. And I thought to myself, all right, well, either way, it's going to be a wild ride, whatever's going on. So he got me on there back in, I think it was mid-March of 2021 at this point, which is pretty crazy to think about. We're already almost in 2023. But yeah, that's how I initially found out. I got on there and it was awesome. I saw you guys on there right out of the gates. And at first there were barely any creators on there. We all had our own creator coins. It was called BitClout. And it was the adrenaline rush, just meeting all these new people and being on a new platform that we didn't really know what direction it was heading in. It's tough to beat that feeling. Like those first few months, as you guys could attest to, it was thrilling, really.
Yeah, and it's funny because Jake Udell is actually who turned us onto it as well in a clubhouse room. We tell a story all the time. We were in a clubhouse room about NFTs, and he came in, he starts talking about Deso, and we're like, wow, this is amazing. And I hope that it's more like Facebook than pets.com.
Me too, Brian. You know what? I'm honestly still so bullish on Deso. I know when I first got on there, I was told give this like at least 3 to 4 years. And I know everyone got so excited with how things were popping early on, but like you guys know as much as anybody, really, technology takes time. So I
Absolutely.
don't know how you guys are feeling. You've had way more of a consistent pulse than me, but I have not had any different thoughts than I did the first year that I do now.
I feel like we experienced the Gartner hype cycle in like fast forward, where we saw that spike within like 2 months and then died down. And now hopefully we fast forward in on the upward trend.
Definitely. It'll come back. You know, everyone gets, there was so much greed in the air, like during the heart of the NFT bull market. And now everyone's just like, oh, this is done. And that's when you could take a breath and realize, oh, we're not done. We'll be good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I remember all those clubhouse rooms. Remember how big some of those Deso clubhouse rooms would get, and there would be famous people in there talking about Deso, and
It was
it was just so
crazy.
exciting.
Elon Musk was in one of those rooms early on. That first, oh, the coin at $69,000 or something. It was wild. Yeah, that clubhouse was so big during the heart of the pandemic. It seems like Twitter Spaces is kind of
Yeah.
eating their lunch pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. So you've been doing a lot behind the scenes. I know when we met in New York, you told us, hey, I'm starting a new company. It's going to be frozen pizzas and they're going to be amazing. And they're finally here, right?
Finally, about here, Brian and Ed, we're actually, you guys will have care packages for your families here in about 6
Can't
weeks.
wait
We'll have to
Thank
eat
you.
them on our show, I think.
Oh,
for
let's
breakfast.
go.
That means we had to eat pizza for breakfast.
See, that's the hope here. You know, we kind of we're launching frozen pizza and pre-made dough. Long story short, we saw there was a window in the space because I'm a Jersey guy. I grew up there like you guys. We know pizza. And for so long the frozen pizza space to me hasn't even been a thing I've considered until cauliflower crust came around a few years ago. One of my former employees actually introduced me to that. And he's like, Mike, you need to try this. It's like a better version of pizza that's actually healthy. And he had to really sell me on it. I'm like, wait a minute, cauliflower. But they made it work. And it was so remarkable to me that they figured out how to get people eating cauliflower crust pizza. So when this was brought to my attention with yogurt dough, my initial reaction was, okay, yogurt sounds way more appealing than cauliflower. That was the marketing mind in me. Then I was like, wait a minute, I need to try this and love it, or else I can't sell this to other people unless I'm eating it and loving it. I loved it. And here we are. That was almost 2 years ago now. And we went through the ringer. We found our COO, Jay, who's remarkable. He's our research junkie. He's done everything with getting our product ready, finding the right co-manufacturer. It's really allowed our team, like the front end, the marketing and sales, me, my brother, one of our other co-founders, to do what we do. But Jay really helped put us in place to get this thing ready to sell. So we found a co-man in the middle of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is ironic. It's right where my mom grew up. And we went
My
out.
wife's from Wisconsin too.
Really? Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
So,
the
so
other
I
side
have
though.
I have two questions. Number one, what's the name of your company?
The name is Yo. So it's dough with a Y,
Oh, cool.
Yough.
I like that.
Thank you.
And
And
number two, yogurt dough. So we think about yogurt, we think about, plain white yogurt, and then we think about frozen yogurt, and frozen yogurt doesn't taste anything like plain white yogurt.
you're
So
right.
are you actually taking plain white yogurt, mixing in the ingredients, or is there something else you do?
So we're actually using non-fat Greek yogurt. That's our
Okay.
staple ingredient here. And it's magical because it basically, when you combine that with the flour, it just turns into a really great dough.
And high
And
in protein.
very high in protein, high in macros, low in calories. The whole thing, it doesn't make sense when you eat
So
it. You think,
so what about like the acidic flavor of yogurt? Do you still have that in the dough?
Ed, you don't it tastes like, you guys will see soon. It tastes like a really good thin crust pizza. And I literally thought there was something I was missing because I had to keep eating it. And that's when I was sold on it. I was eating this thing every day and not getting fat. So I'm like, okay, there's something here. But no, you don't taste, it's not like you bite into this and you're like, oh, I feel a bit acidity with the yogurt. It
Yeah,
literally tastes like phenomenal pizza.
that's
Can I
amazing.
replace my protein shakes before the gym with yogurt dough?
That Brian, that's the plan. I'm
Pizza?
hoping I get you guys rocking to the gym, eating yo, and hopefully we're gonna be rolling out drinks at some point. But early on, like think Pillsbury Doughboy, even it's such junk, the stuff in there. So we want to just join them in the party. Not saying we're gonna put them out of business. I don't see that ever happening, but I do think there
You never
are
know.
alternatives. You never know, Ed. But even with you guys, you have young kids, you have wives that clearly want your family to be healthy. When you think about like the whole better for you movement, there's this window now because there's been these brands that, like the Smart Sweets of the world, where you could have Swedish fish, except have it with way less sugar. But when it comes to the frozen pizza space, cauliflower crust just blanketed everything. The problem with cauliflower crust, it's either really delicious and bad for you, or it's really healthy and it's not even edible.
I've
Yeah.
never actually tried cauliflower crust pizza before.
And you don't even have to start. We'll just start you on the yogurt dough train.
Awesome.
Well,
Can't wait.
it's funny because a lot of those like vegetable products like cauliflower crust or like the chips that are made from veggies, they're still horrible for you because they use so many like trans fats and fats to make it taste good. So it kind of is counterproductive. But what you're doing, it sounds like that's not the case, and it's going to taste good and be healthy at the same time.
That's the plan, man. We really tried no sacrificing taste and keeping it good for you, where you don't feel bad, where you could crush a full pizza and not be in a food
So,
coma
so,
on
so
the
you're
couch.
not mixing half yogurt with half animal lard.
Exactly. We avoided that ad. If we did that, we would have been able to launch in like a month, because that's what a lot of these products do. They just throw whatever in there to
Yeah.
get to market.
Yeah, because nobody reads the ingredients. They just eat and like, oh, this tastes so good. Could tell all
But
my
Brian,
friends.
that's the problem. We're going after the moms. That's our focal point
Yeah,
at first.
that's a
So
good idea.
they're like detectives. They know every
Yeah.
little thing. And we've learned that early on the hard way, where you have to be educated going into those conversations or they will just rip you apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me rephrase that. The unhealthy people usually don't read the ingredients.
Yeah.
You're spot on, man.
The people
A
who
lot
don't
of people
care
don't
about
care.
eating healthy.
You're
Right.
right. I like the thought of eating healthy. It's easier said than done, because there's that convenience factor where you're hungry, you just want to eat. And, getting that transformed into healthy eating is not easy.
Yeah, or you see like a headline on the container, low fat or, low carbs, but they're like you said, people don't go in depth and read the ingredients and see like, okay, it's low fat, but they have 10 tons of sugar in here, or, 10 tons of something else that's bad for you.
It just shows, man, the power of marketing with some of these brands. And that's what we've learned too. You don't want to fight against things where people have spent so much money on a trend, like gluten-free and dairy-free, for example. We can't fight that. It is, at this point, it's so prevalent that we're going to have to roll those SKUs out at some point. But at first, we wanted to make sure we had simple and clean ingredients and it was edible. So that's why we started with what we're doing.
It's funny that it's yogurt because like that's something I have an issue with, buying yogurt for my kids. Like I look at some of these yogurts, I'm like, okay, yogurt is healthy, it's good for them. And then I look at the nutrition on them and it's like this little tiny yogurt this big has 50 grams of sugar in it. It's like, okay, this yogurt has as much sugar in it as a cola. So
Right?
like, am I really doing my kids good giving him a yogurt? It's like just giving him a cola with some protein powder in it.
It's crazy you say that. And think back to like when we were growing up, how we didn't even know about this stuff. And
Yeah.
now at least you can look at things and be like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. I was eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch before class, like by the boatloads when I was a kid. And you wonder, I couldn't sit still. And now I know why.
It's a
But
good
I,
point.
I remember, I remember as a kid, they didn't. I remember when they first introduced nutrition facts on food. It's probably a little bit. You're probably too young to remember that, but I remember, like, I was probably like 6 or 7. And I remember, oh wow, this is cool. Now you can see like all this stuff, like percentage of your daily value. Before that, you'd see low fat in the container and be like, okay, when this is good for me.
Yeah, you were like, game on, let's go with. I know, man. The '90s were something like that.
Yeah, so I had to ask, like, since this is a show about Web3 and Deso, do you plan to market or use Web3 or use Deso in any way with your new company?
Yeah, Brian, I would love to. Honestly, I thought when we first came up with this idea, I was way more into the thought of having a coin for Eat Yo. I don't know if that's practical. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that. I definitely would love to do something with the DSO community. I think it would be a great idea. I know you've already got a lot of early adopters on the platform. In what form that's going to look like, I'm not sure yet, but we're very open minded to doing something for sure.
Yeah, I'd say just take your time and see how things develop. I wouldn't like jump into anything right now. But in the future, I mean, who knows? I mean, there's so many possibilities, and at the very least, you just use it as normal social media to post about what you're doing at your company and at your,
Yeah, and if anybody watching this video has any ideas for Michael, leave them in the comment section because I know
Let me
you'll
know.
read them,
I'm all
right, Michael?
ears. Yeah, maybe you'll get a free pizza out of it.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
it's
so
enticing.
anything else you want to say before we move on to just the end of the show? It was so
Uh,
nice to have you on here and catch
Well, yeah, I
up.
appreciate you guys having me on for this. If you guys want to check out eatyo.com's our website, if you want to subscribe to the waiting list, we'll be
Is
live
that
soon.
EAT?
EAT. So EATYOUGH.
Okay, cool.
So that's our
Awesome.
website and our Instagram handle. And hopefully we can put something up on Deso soon with the brand as
Awesome.
well.
Yeah. That would be great. Yeah. And like good luck with everything. You're like one of my favorite people we've met on DSO.
Thanks.
We go way back.
Feelings
And
mutual, guys. I love you guys. We
and
got
it's
to get
Jake
together.
Udell's cousin, or not cousin, roommate.
Yeah, man. One of my best friends, Jake and I, it's crazy. I've known that guy for 20 years now. Life
Wow,
goes by way too quickly these days.
that's
Yeah, it sure
crazy.
does.
All right, well, thanks
But
again. I'm just going to move on to cover some of the NFTs that are auctions that are ending soon today on NFTZ. Quest of Legend has a really cool new NFT up for auction entitled Quest of Legend Satori. It ends at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Alartwork has some amazing NFT creations also ending today, mostly this afternoon, so check those out. And Brian, you want to talk about some of the top 10 people?
Yeah, the top 10 bidders on NFTs over the last 24 hours, according to NFTZ, are as follows: Andreas PZ, Boxer XXX, Ashisha, Slicer Rabbit, Mirkilly, Dr. Rob, Shady Acres, Arioli 2022, Regulian, and Scrutinize NFT. And the top diamond creators over the last 24 hours, thanks to our friends at Altum Base. These people receive the most diamonds or tips on their posts and replies on the DeSo blockchain in the last day. Skin Lover, followed by Now and Then, Overthinks, ECOE, Shady Acres, Striga, Darian Parish, Sean Slater, Brutal, and El Zubier.
Congratulations. And remember to check out all of the events that are taking place today, thanks to Miss Katie Ann, as you can see on this list on the video. And everybody have a great rest of your day. Thanks again to Michael Lee Rolland for coming onto our show. It was a pleasure. And
thanks for having me, guys.
we'll talk to everyone else tomorrow.